look?
Today was a lot more physical. You know, it's as always the first 2 days were basketball. Yesterday was average. Today was a lot better. But the competition level here was very high today in the team emphasis.
You said experience would really kind of show once you put the pads on. What guys really stood out these past couple of days as far as, at least having a veteran presence?
Probably the defensive secondary. And the quarterbacks both being here before. You can tell the difference between the older ones and the guys that have played and the ones that haven't.
So that'd be a little bit of a turnaround between a couple practices ago and this practice with the defensive secondary. I know that was a group that you said you're kind of getting on the other day. They really made it.
I was on them today too. That's just part of the game. But for me, it's it's how good you want to be. This was the fourth day of 2 days as far as we're concerned. It's like I told them after the second practice in shorts, it was one of the better practices we've had since the Rose Bowl. But that doesn't mean we're going to win a national championship. And yesterday was, I'm not sure we'd beat a couple high schools. But for us, on the day they came back, they were focused. We got done what we needed to do. We didn't teach as much, and they were able to react a lot better and saw it going. And still being physical because we still think the way you win championships is being physical.
How are the guys that changed position doing so far?
Like
Kobe Griffin or Jonathan Anderson or
Jonathan Anderson this is the first day he really went the full time, but he knows how to. The understanding of playing safety first, moving in, he gives us an advantage of a guy that runs 4-4 that can cover vertical people, running backs, tight ends, wideouts, for the linebacker positions. First guy we've had like that since Darrell Washington. So definitely bad, but he's got a long way to go to play the position truly the way we want him to.
Your running backs, you're only running 2 of them right now, but how they look, especially with the pads on.
Yeah, this was a hard day on them because we had some protection things where there was a lot of people coming, and so probably not as physical because they're not big backs as what we'd like them to, but definitely we learned something today.
Is Wayman still limited to what?
Yeah, he won't do anything all spring. I mean, he's running things when we have team periods so he can get into the offense, but as far as us touching him or doing anything, he won't do anything. He's just like Stephen Bryant, Michael Thompson. Brett, that was the one person that changed. He's finally feeling himself back in. He was in all our team periods today, which was a good thing.
Everyone wants to talk about the return of Casey, but another guy on the team that's back is James Dunbar. How has he added depth to you guys, and is he making
rusty,
a push?
But he's a big body, and the biggest thing, James, being back academically, he just got to do well. And so that's his first thing. That's his first focus. But he's high and he's a little bit rusty. But you just don't get 23-year-old 6'6", 320-pound bodies very often. So for us, having another guy that understands the offense, it's not a new guy coming in, is a definite advantage. It's like it's like a new recruit.
How's that linebacking core looking, especially with Kenny gone? Who's maybe stepping up to take a little bit of that leadership role?
Well, it's hard, but Mallett's the guy that's really Marcus Mallett's really the guy that's changed his body. Hasley both, played at the end of the year last year, along with it was kind of in my doghouse, Paul Dawson, but really Paul is actually yesterday and today has actually had two pretty good practices. Him stepping up along with Jonathan Anderson and then Alex Louie, which is another guy that's a walk-on that's really, played before, because he can run. In addition, when we in the fall we come in, we'll have 2 linebackers coming in. Really gives us an advantage. But, we're getting better, but, we've had some awfully good linebackers here, so it's hard for me to just go jump off the table and say, we're really good there. But they've made some plays.
I think Marcus has been one of the most improved players the past 12 months as far as what he's been able to do physically and then stepping into
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of guys that really done it. I don't think he's made as much of a change as what a Sam Carter has, and we can't judge him till Saturdays. Saturday will be the time that you'll see all the other things and how we do it. But it's definitely if he had a great season, he's going to make us better because it's a position where we have less depth than what we've had before compared to the rest of the positions.
Noticed on Saturday that Kobe listened to me looked pretty fast in his routes. Is that a guy that you're pretty excited about?
He started really coming on. To be honest with you, he really started coming on in bowl practices. He had the big catch in the bowl practice, which gave him a lot of confidence. He's gotten a lot stronger in the weight room, and obviously he's always been really fast. And so for us, the more he can block and more he can handle the catching the ball over the middle because he's more physical, the better football team we're going to be. any of those young guys on offense at wide receiver.
Is it hard to tell the guys when the pads come on to kind of still stay up a little bit, or are you letting them go full contact right now?
We're full, but I mean, it's key for us is that, good teams know how to practice. Staying high, running your feet, not taking people to the ground. That's part of being a good football team. And when you have a team that can do all that stuff, you find a team that's been successful here. And for us, really today, last 2 days, we've done a pretty good job of that.
You still have a couple more practices left this week, but heading into spring break.
One
more
Yeah,
practice.
Thursday.
Okay. But heading into spring break, they're going to be off for a week as a coach. How do you view that?
We've always done that. We've always had a break in between. I do it because we can be more physical whether it's a week or 2 weeks. You can be more physical because then you get 10 days off to get, healed up and you can push it. And so we've always kind of like it. It's the only time I don't really like it is when we have a really, really young offensive line, because you just lose a lot of knowledge in 10 days. But it'll be interesting to see how this team handles it when they come back. But you kind of roll into it. It's a lot better, I think. It's a lot better to have 3 weeks and 4 weeks. Only one time have we gone all 4 weeks after, and it's by the end of that last week we're ready. We don't need any more hitting. But it'll be interesting because they were real physical today. I think our scrimmage on Thursday will be very physical. And then, we'll get some time off and then be able to come back and ease in the first 3 days, the first week. And then really our third week's always is the week that we really start getting after, because there's really no new teaching and you should be getting better and people are running around and doing things. And then you wind down and you start working on your, next year's early opponents the last week of spring ball. So, we'll see how all that transpires. But, it's obviously you got to make up for the loss of Josh Boyce and Stanley Maponga and Sky Dawson and our center. And Blaze Fultz and Kenny Kane. So really those are the five or six guys that we got to replace. But 2 years ago we had to replace 27 seniors. So it's a lot of guys that come back, and we just got to keep moving forward. Not worry about where we are right now, but really worry about where we're trying to get to at the end of these 15 days before we get in, finish up school and then go into the summer and before we start two-a-days.
How do you feel about this offensive line in those regards heading into spring break? They're not young, but you lost a lot of guys.
Well, we got Michael Thompson come back. We got a junior college player coming in big. We got 4 offensive linemen coming in the fall. We've got to grow up and get the best 5 that we have on the field. Still don't feel as good at between the center and guard positions as what we need to be. We got guys coming back at tackle, but I think we've got a long way to go to be what we want to be. We've had the Marcus Cannons, you've got the new houses there with the Patterson and starting for the Packers, and we've had those kind of guys before. So how do you step and go do the things we need to do? And so only thing you do is keep getting better every day, and that's why we do so much good in the spring, because that's the time when you do improve and make yourself better when you get a chance to do that, because you're so far away where you need to get to. So,
Coach, I was looking at your roster, and you have about 50 guys who are sophomores and juniors on scholarship, and then they've played a lot too. Do you remember a team that has that kind of balance of youth and experience as far as not having a senior
probably
leadership?
Andy Dalton's group, because we had to play a lot of young players in 2007, the year that we went 8-4 that year. Or was it? Yeah, 8-5. But it's and then you kind of grew up. But it's hard to compare because you're going to be in a different conference. You're going to be in a different situation. But the thing I like best about this team right now is they like each other, both sides of the ball, and they compete. And it's not a bunch of jabbering where they're trying to get out. If they're giving each other a bad time, it's not personal. And to me, that makes for a lot easier way to coach and be able to run things on a day-to-day basis.